a rising and very modern addiction in South Korea, that's smartphones. This is Asia Today, I'm Jake Lee, and I'm joined by South Korea Bureau Chief Alastair Gale. Alastair, you've just chronicled this fascinating issue in South Korea. It feels like there's sort of smartphone addiction around the world, I include myself, but it's especially bad over there in Korea, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's really taken off over the last year. What we saw is the penetration rate for mobile phones here is over 100%, which means that many people have more than one phone, and 2/3 of people now have smartphones. And the area where this has risen most sharply has been among teenagers and other kids, and that's becoming a problem because there's a rise in addiction to the use of smartphones, whereby people are unable to stop using them. They suffer symptoms such as stress and anxiety, and that's affecting kids in schools, and it's affecting their ability to study. So it's becoming a fairly major problem here.
I guess South Korea's got to really walk this sort of tightrope. It's got Samsung, sort of a powerhouse in technology, and yet if it goes too far, like you say, you get all these problems with the technology, right? I mean, what do you do about that?
Right. I mean, this is South Korea. It's one of the most wild nations on earth. It's had this amazing economic growth spurt over the last few decades. And a lot of that has been driven by the technology industry. South Koreans are very proud of that. They've got Samsung and LG are two of the big smartphone makers that are, real global players. So whilst that's something for the South Koreans to be proud of, there's a darker side to this, and that's, South Koreans spend a lot of time online. If you're traveling on a bus or a train here, pretty much everyone will be using a smartphone. There's been problems in recent years of, there was a pretty horrific case in 2010 of a couple who spent so long online playing a game that they forgot to feed their own child, who subsequently died. So there's some pretty grim results of this kind of obsession with technology that the country's just getting to grips with now.
Absolutely. I suppose it begs the question, is anything being done about it, or should we just expect this actually to get worse and worse?
Well, what the government has said is that they're going to start training of teachers to be able to deal with the addiction to smartphones that their students have. You already have counselling, psychiatric treatment here for adults. So because this is now affecting a much younger generation, the government is now focusing on kids and how to deal with their problems. So, they're taking some steps, but there's only so much you can do in this.
Absolutely. Well, Alastair Gale for Asia Today, thank you so much for joining. I'm Jake Lee, but for more on this story and many more, please go to WSJ.com.